health and why it's something that you can, as a medical professional, you can use in your system, in your practice, in your methodology to transform health. Okay? Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay. So to get started, I'm going to talk about a few things, and then I'd like to give some time for a question and answer. Okay? And we'll do that, maybe the last 30 minutes or so. So what you need to know about 3 is it all comes down to one word. One word. Molecules. It really does. Molecules, molecules, molecules. Here at 3, we love our beautiful molecules. Who here took organic chemistry? Yeah, okay, all right. And keep your hand raised if it was your favorite class of all time. Okay, a few of them. Yeah, most medical professionals, when they learn I'm an organic chemist, they proceed to tell me some horror story, right? About how their OChem class was worse, and it was terrible, and they barely passed, and whatever. I was an OChem professor for 7 years. I love organic chemistry, right? If we had time, we'd get up and draw chair structures. Who wants to draw chair structures? You remember those? Resonance forms. Who remembers drawing resonance structures? Oh yeah, isn't that beautiful? Covalent bonds. Ionic bonds. Yeah. Density functional theory. We can talk about all sorts of things, SN1, SN2 reactions. Remember those? Yeah. Yeah. Some of you are like, I came here for a good time. I don't want to have PTSD, right? Now I'm going to be up at night convulsing. But really, it comes down to molecules. The human body is made up of what?
Molecules.
Right? Proteins, carbohydrates, fats. They're molecules. You have macromolecules, proteins, fats, carbs, complex carbs, right? Where you have repeating molecules that are strung together in a line. You have DNA, RNA. It's made up of molecules, right? Nucleic acids, ribonucleic acids, deoxynucleic acids. And then you have vitamins, minerals, right? Made up of molecules. What's your favorite atom, by the way? You have a favorite atom? Gold. Well, my favorite atom is carbon.
Oxygen.
Carbon, yeah. Carbon is the building block of molecules, right? The lowly carbon. It's a beautiful molecule because it can accept 4 electrons to make covalent bonds. As we talked about, covalent bonds, the sharing of electrons, right? This allows for stable structures that form the rigid framework, not only of the body, but of human health. So when we started this company, and Daniel and I were talking about what we're going to do to be different, how we're going to transform health in new, powerful ways. It all starts with molecules. To give the body the molecules that it needs, because the body performs millions of chemical reactions every single second. And these reactions, in order to function, what do they need? They need molecules, right? In order for those reactions to happen, you need enzymes that catalyze reactions. Are enzymes molecules? You bet they are, right? And for reactions to happen, right? You remember our reaction arrow in Chem 101, right? A plus B, arrow, C plus D, right? A and B, what are they? They're reactants, they're reagents, they're molecules. So we need molecules. The body is a molecular machine that needs molecules all the time. We need to feed it molecules. And where do we get molecules from? Our food, our diet. It's the number 1 source of molecules, right? Where else? Plants? Yeah. Where else? Breathing? Yeah. When we take supplementation, those are molecules, right? Pharmaceutical drugs that you as medical professionals prescribe to people, are those molecules? Yeah, absolutely, right? Those are molecules that are made, a lot of them are made synthetically. And a lot of people come up to me and they're like, synthetic's bad, right? Ooh, synthetic, terrible. No, I was a synthetic chemist for a while. Synthetic is not bad. Synthesis. The idea of building its molecules, right? Building a new molecule, that feeling that you get when you make a molecule that has never been made in the universe before? Oh man, you go to like SciFinder, there's a database called SciFinder where you can type in it, you can draw a molecular structure and it will tell you if it's in the database or not. I remember August 2001, I made a molecule in a lab and I typed it into SciFinder and it showed no results. Oh, I can still remember the rush, right? And I just said to myself, Googler, you just made a molecule that has never existed in the universe before. And I called my wife. I'm like, Jane, I made a molecule that's never existed. She's like, you're weird. But anyways, it was a really cool day, right? So synthetic molecules are fine. There's a few drawbacks to them. What are some of the drawbacks to synthetic molecules? Side effects, yeah. Because synthetic molecules, when I work for pharma companies, we make synthetic molecules, pharmaceutical drugs. And pharmaceutical drugs are powerful, but they're designed to bind to enzymes so tight. Bonding dissociation constants, KDs. Who likes KDs? I love me a good KD, yeah. Nobody reads KD. Oh, there we go. Patrick, all right. Bonding dissociation constants. That's basically talks about how tight a molecule binds to its receptor. And pharmaceutical drugs, you want a KD that's nanomolar or picomolar. You want it to bind so tight that it's not coming off. You basically want it to be a suicide inhibitor. Yeah, isn't that a cool name? Suicide inhibitor. It comes on and it doesn't come off. And that's how a lot of pharma drugs are designed, because they need to elicit a response immediately, right? You're in this death spiral and you need to pull it up, right? So you need really tight binders. The thing about molecules from plants is they're not nanomolar inhibitors. They're not picomolar inhibitors. They're micro, or sometimes even millimolar inhibitors. And that's because they're designed to pop on and off of the body. So it's like gently guiding the boat into the shore. That's what molecules from plants are designed to do. Now, pharmaceutical drugs. What percent of pharmaceutical drugs come from plants? Are plant derived? I heard it.
40%.
About 55%. Now, when you go to cancer drugs, that goes up like 60. So half of all the molecules, beautiful molecules that you doctors prescribe, come from plants. And I remember one day I was tasked to design a drug, and they gave me this huge dossier. They sit on my desk. You're to design this drug, and it needs to do whatever. And here's all this information. And as I was flipping through the information, one of the molecule, there was a beautiful molecule, right? I was flipping, beautiful molecule, right? So I stopped, looked at the page, and it said, so I was designing HIV integrase inhibitors. And they said, well, our research team has actually found that there's this molecule, what is it, Dynamycin 1? I can't remember what it was, maybe Dynamycin, but they were like, here's a molecule from a plant that already does that. I'm like, and for me, you know those times in your lives where something hits you like a load of bricks, you can see things clearly, and you can still remember those to this day, right? You can remember how the air smelled, you can remember, just bring it back, all the sensory things come back. I remember sitting at my desk when I was eating peanut M&Ms, because I love peanut M&Ms. That's what I used to eat when I was thinking. I don't do that. But anyways, I used to be an addict. I'm clean now. I remember thinking to myself, why are you here making a synthetic molecule, trying to design a synthetic molecule, when there's already a molecule from a plant that does that? Duh, like, what are you thinking? And from that time on, I switched. I left synthetic chemistry and I moved to natural products chemistry, the study of natural molecules from plants and their ability to change health. So for us here at 3, it's all about molecules. And let me see if I can turn this around without throwing it off the stage. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Isn't that beautiful? Yeah! Right? Psilocybin and A. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, that 6-member furan ring, this difuran. Ooh, we could draw. Let's have someone come up and draw resonance structures. But anyway, so Sylvan A for purifying. Beautiful product for supporting health of the liver. This has really powerful epigenetic properties. It binds to different genes. Look at this quercetin. Who likes quercetin? Yeah! Quercetin, beautiful molecule. Quercetin is a master regulator. It's like one of those molecules that does everything, you know, like sports, those two-way players that can do offense and defense. Quercetin. It's a quorum sensing inhibitor. Who knows about quorum sensing? Yeah, quorum sensing is the way bacteria talk to each other. They chat with each other, right? They share conversations. How do bacteria talk with each other? Molecules! It's all molecules. Everything, right? They shoot molecules back and forth. And one bacteria picks it up and they analyze the molecule and they send it back, and send it back, and send it back. And it's like texting. That's what molecules do. And molecules, bad bacteria, when they're chatting with each other, they can get excited. They can start, chatting back and forth and whatnot. And they get to the point where they start to grow exponentially. And when bacteria, viruses, by the way, use the same thing, quorum sensing technology. When they get excited, they start chatting. That's how they overwhelm the immune system, and that's how we get sick. So there's molecules, and quercetin's one of them, that inhibits quorum sensing. It inhibits the ability of bacteria to talk to each other. And when bad bacteria can't talk to each other, they're silent and they die. Good bacteria use molecules to communicate as well, but it's a different language. It's different molecules. Quercetin doesn't inhibit good bacteria communication, just bad. So, quercetin, great molecule. Oh, look at this one here, monmorticin. Oh, beautiful molecule. Have you seen that before? Oh, that's gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that four-membered ring. You know, you got the fuse 6, 6, 6, 5. Oh, that's sweet. What a great structure. And you know these wedges and these dashes, do you know what that is? Do you remember?
No.
Stereochemistry. What? Stereochemistry. Yeah, you remember functional graduation? Yeah, bonds that are coming out into space and bonds that are coming back, right? Three-dimensional structures. Because structure determines what? Function. Yeah, over here, good. Structure determines function. So it's this three-dimensional space that allows these molecules to do what they're doing. Isn't that cool? Monmorticin, beautiful three-dimensional structure. Monmorticin is actually from bitter melon. And bitter melon is one of the ingredients in our Vitality product. Monmorticin, powerful at regulating blood sugar levels, powerful at regulating blood insulin levels, powerful epigenetic regulator. Okay, come down here. Boswellic acid. That's a beautiful molecule. Look at that. Isn't that freaking gorgeous? So you have a 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 fused together in cis configurations. Boswellic acid, really good at supporting the anti-inflammatory process of the body. Who here likes Revive? Who here uses Revive? Yeah! Revive is a powerful product that reduces inflammation. And the workhorses of Revive are curcuminoids, which we know about, and boswellic acids. And I actually, if I was forced to choose between curcuminoids and boswellic acids, tough choice. It's like LeBron and Jordan, you can choose, But I would probably go with my boswellic acids. I honestly would. They're powerful. I know that's blasphemy to choose boswellic acids over curcuminoids, but they're really powerful. They're kind of unsung heroes here. Resveratrol. Who knows resveratrol? Classic molecule. Master gene regulator. Great for longevity, anti-aging. That's why we have it in our Eternel product. And then, whoa, the granddaddy of them all. Look at that bad boy. Halogens. Look at this connected together. You have a sugar molecule in here, a saccharide, fused rings. Look at this gorgeous structure here. It's four rings together. Putic halogen is one of the molecules that allows the body to produce collagen again, right? So the reason why our collagen product would take it 10 days on, 20 days off, how many other products do that? How many other products teach the body how to make collagen again? None in the industry. Our product does. Why? Molecules, baby. Punicalagin. Yes, punicalagin. And a few other molecules that we don't have time to write down and talk about. But this is one of the workhorses. So when your body produces collagen again, because you take collagen, you should say, thank you, punicalagin. I love you. I am grateful for you. Yes. In your morning mantras, punicalagin. I mean silly, you know. But really, to be serious, it's all about the molecules. These molecules are what gives the body life. And if you're serious about improving human health, then you need to develop powerful combinations of molecules that have never been seen before in the industry. That's power. If you can do that, then you have power. You have an advantage over every other company. Now, the thing about the supplement industry is we are in a molecule malaise. We're all using the same molecules, right? When you look at a formula and you turn it over and you look at the ingredients, they're all the same, pretty much. They're all using curcumin, you know, they're all using grapeseed, you know, what else? They're using the same molecules. And if you're using the same molecules, are you different than anybody else? No. Can you have more power than anybody else? No. You're the same. So for us, we're passionate about molecules. And so our approach, turn this around again, myself, or anybody else. So our approach starts with exploration, right? So the three pillars of our scientific approach, as a lot of you know, number one, exploration, number two, curation, and number three, absorption. And it's all about molecules. Exploration, to find new molecules. And that excites me. And we have our exploration efforts that we do at 3, part of which we show by our Explore Dr. Dan series, where you can actually see us out and about in nature, finding plants, bringing them back to the lab and analyzing. And we have something really exciting to say about exploration this weekend. It's going to be really, really exciting. Dr. Baker, why don't you come up here and talk about why exploration is... I'm putting him on the spot here. Dr. Baker, why don't you come up and talk about, like 2 minutes, about why exploration is such a...
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody, for being here, by the way. This is an awesome crowd of all science people. This is pretty awesome. Now, when you were up here talking, I really was thinking, you just need more drugs or rest. but you're right. This is pretty exciting. But exploration, the skills that this man has at going out into these areas, and we will bring up some things in a couple days I think you'll find interesting, but when he's able to go out into these areas to explore in areas that maybe haven't been very much before, finds a plant that's unique, a lot of them are, and then takes it back to the lab and is able to extract out some of the most unique molecules that we've ever seen. So this is pretty amazing, and so that's why exploration excites me. Curation obviously is a big part of it. Absorption is huge. We've always talked about absorption, but the exploration part of this triad of things we have up here is vitally important, and that's why we're so blessed to have someone that's so good at exploration as Dr. Dan is. So again, thank everybody for being here.
Let's give another hand for Dr. Baker. On the board, you know, we all have our different skills and strengths. Dr. Baker is my analytical chemistry buddy. We talk about HPLC and mass spec and stuff like that, and we geek out a little bit. But exploration, finding new molecules from plants. Are there new molecules out there? There's hundreds of thousands of new molecules out there. They're discovered every day. So if you want to like join my journal club and we'll geek out, there's a journal called the Journal of Natural Product Chemistry. where you can look at that, and each day they discover new molecules. And I've published some papers in there in the past, but there's new molecules that are being discovered all the time. Molecules that can transform human history, right? There's hidden treasures. When I was a little boy, I always loved treasure hunting, right? I went through a kick where I was an archaeologist. I love archaeology, finding things, right? And there's this little boy in my neighborhood. You see, Dr. Baker, same thing. There's this little boy in my neighborhood that is an archaeologist as well. And his mom asks us neighbors, if you have anything to donate for Holden, and we give things, and she buries them in her backyard, and he goes and finds them. And it's so cute for him to be like, whoa! I gave him an old watch and stuff, and he was like, look at this watch that I found. But I love discovery. And it just thrills me to think of plants. Even in these hills, these mountains, you see the trees on these mountains. Here in Utah, there's a plant that I've been studying that has some really cool molecules that no one else has found before. Just here in Utah, right? There's molecules from plants that are growing on the side of the road that are weeds. In Hawaii, there's this plant it's called the vampire plant. But it's considered a weed. They try to kill it. They put weed killer on it and whatnot. But that plant produces a molecule that has ambient-like properties. Like ambient and lunesta, it has the same properties without the crazy side effects. From that plant. Isn't that cool? That's freaking amazing. And so, there's so many molecules left to discover and explore. And how many companies are doing that? The pharmaceutical industry used to do that. Back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, they would collaborate with botanists, and they'd go to the Amazon and different places and catalog plants, and they'd do some analysis, HPLC, DAR-MS, things like that. And they look kind of high level for molecules. And indeed, the pharmaceutical industry uses these libraries, these natural products libraries. That's why, when I was doing that, when I was developing that HIV integrase inhibitor, they gave me that molecule. That's from their database. But they're not doing that anymore. They're turning to AI. And they're turning, we'll see how that goes. They're turning, we're like, I don't know about that. They're turning to AI. They're turning to combinatorial chemistry. They're turning to different things where they're just randomly, and I don't get it. I don't. They're like, wow, we can just randomly develop this molecule. And it's like, well, if you want to drill for oil, you usually start where oil has been known to be found, right? Rather than just the middle of nowhere. Anyways, whatever. But the bottom line is they're not doing it. Supplement companies, are they exploring? Are they doing natural product isolation? No. So that gives us a unique leg up. Because if we find a new molecule, and if we analyze that molecule for its properties, and if it turns out that that molecule has a health benefit for, bone health, joint health, skin health, heart health, brain health, whatever, and we use that, and that molecule has more powerful properties in our clinical studies than other molecules out there, and we put it in a product that you have in your hands that you could sell, what does that mean? We're going to be rich! Okay, but we're Patrick, bring it down a level, because we're healthcare professionals. We're virtuous. We are looking after the common good. Read, okay? Now we're on the same page. But really, as a medical professional, if you could have something like that you could use in your clinic, that you can use as a proactive wellness measure for the people that you interact with every single day, what does that mean? What's that? It's a game changer, right? Really, it's out of the insanity cycle, right? The definition of insanity is doing what? The same thing and expecting a different result, right? It's ridiculous. And right now, the supplement industry it's firmly entrenched in this insanity cycle. We're doing the same thing, we're using the same molecules, we're using the same manufacturers, marketing story is a little bit different. We're trying to market it different. But come on, we could see through that stuff. I mean, give me a break, right? So we're in this insanity cycle. Now, if you're able to find a new molecule that you can use, what happens? Boop, you're out, right? You're out of that insanity cycle. You're now playing in a different space. You're playing in business strategy, what they call blue ocean, right? An area where no one else is playing, right? In the insanity cycle, in that analogy, it's red ocean, right? Everybody's doing the same thing. You've ever gone to the beach where, there's like trash floating in the water and everybody's there. You try to like set your towel down and you're like stepping in between people, right? And you're like, yes, my towel's right there, don't touch it. And you go into the water and you have to like swim through people and, someone's armpits in your face. Yeah, that's red ocean. Everybody's there. Everybody's playing in the same space. Blue ocean, you own it. You and your family on this beautiful beach, miles away, no one there. It's beautiful. You kayak out to the island. You by yourself. Have fun. Play together. That's blue ocean. You have power. You own it. And here at 3, through our molecular strategy, we are using blue ocean technology. New molecules. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you're going to hear about exploration, like I said, this weekend. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. Okay. Curation. So now that we have these new molecules that we've discovered and explored, and they're ours, we own it. How do you own a molecule? Yeah. That's kind of weird, right? How do you own it? You patent it. But can you patent a molecule that's already existed? Patent examiner were like, you can't own that. It's like there, right? Nature owns it. Well, you can own the extraction process. You can own how you obtain it, how you refine it, how you purify it, and you can own how you combine it together. That's when the power comes, where you take this new molecule and you combine it with other molecules and you put them together. And that process is called curation. Like a Michelin star chef, what makes these amazing French restaurants or top tier restaurants in the world the best is they use the best ingredients, and then they also use the best know-how to combine things together in power, right? That makes your taste buds sing. It's that curation approach. So the same thing here. What we do is we put these molecules together in a fashion, in a proprietary blend combination that gives power. Now, when I say gives power, what does that mean? Well, one of the things that our products, one thing that they do is they regulate something called epigenetics. You remember epigenetics?
Yeah.
Okay. What is epigenetics? Lifestyle can affect epigenetics, but what is epigenetics?
Turning on and off.
The turning on and off of what?
Genes.
Switches, genes, right? A gene turns on and it turns off, right? You have things like DNA methylation and different things like that unravel DNA. Isn't DNA amazing, right? If you were to take DNA from one human cell and you were to stretch it out, how long would it be? 6 feet long. Isn't that nuts? Yeah, 6 feet long. My wingspan. If you were to take DNA from one cell, pull it out, 6 feet long. And how many cells do we have in the body? Yeah, 35 trillion, the numbers, but there's trillions of cells. So if I was to take all of the DNA from all my trillion cells, pull it out, 6 feet, tie them all together in a knot, it would go from here to the moon and back 3 to 4 times. Right? That's the amount of information that we have. So this DNA, it's genetic code, genetic information, right? And we have genes that determine color of our eyes, color of our hair, etc., right? But there's also genes that control the chemical reactions of the body. Those millions of chemical reactions, they're controlled by genes, these switches. And these genes are like instruments of a symphony, right? The strings, the harp, the tuba, the bass, whatever. I'm not very cultured. Jane's like, we're going to go to a symphony. I'm like, really? Anyways, we have these instruments here. right? And these instruments can play beautiful music. And these are the genes. But what controls the genes? Right? In this analogy, in our symphony, the conductor, right, controls the genes. And we did go to a symphony the other day, and it was beautiful. It was at Deer Valley in Park City, and it was beautiful. And the conductor, I was always just, he was like doing things and making these motions. I was like, wow. But it sounded beautiful, right? It was a Utah Symphony. It sounded amazing. But the reason why it sounded amazing was because of the conductor doing all those things, right? So in our analogy, we have our genes. What's the conductor? Molecules. Molecules. Yes. Molecules are the conductor. I was looking for my big orange thing. It's gone. Molecules are the conductors. So what's really cool is molecules from plants, like quercetin and ellagic acid and curcuminoids. These are the conductors. They're conducting. Now, isn't it any wonder why human health has struggled the last 10, 15, 20 years? Because of the modern processed diet. What is the modern processed diet pushing out? It's pushing out all the nutrients. It's pushing out the molecules, the vitamins, the minerals, but most importantly, the phytonutrients, these small molecules from plants. It's pushing it out. They're gone, right? When you eat a taco, right? How many phytonutrients does a taco have? Right? A hamburger, right? Maybe that little wilty lettuce. Well, lettuce has cool phytonutrients like lutecin. Lutein's a bomb molecule. You can try it if you want to. Lutein's great. It's a great molecule. But if you're taking one piece of wilty lettuce on a burger, how much luteinizin are you getting? Right? So it's this molecular drain. All of the molecules are gone. They're not in our diet. And that's one of the reasons why we're having problems. Because gene expression then is not regulated. And when gene expression, when the chemical switches are AWOL, what happens? Obesity, diabetes, all these things that you as medical professionals try to help manage and prevent. One of the major reasons they're happening is we're not getting we don't have master conductors in our diet. Dr. Schneider, do you want to come up and talk about epigenetics and your thoughts on epigenetics in general and 3?
All I could hear back there was the word molecule. Was that you?
I think that's about all I could see.
So,
Dr. Schneider is the chair of our SAB. He leads us in the
by epigenetics, anybody heard of it?
Yeah.
So everybody's heard of it. So what controls epigenetics? Well, molecules do. But a lot of your behavior controls epigenetics. So some of you have heard that your genes are what determine how you end up, right? What color your eyes are, whether you're going to get breast cancer like mom, whether you're going to have heart disease, whether you're going to have depression. All right. So we know that the genes definitely do play a role in how this life of ours sort of proceeds. But it's the epigenetics that tells which genes are turned on and which genes are turned off. We are in the business of turning on the good genes. And we know that we can do that because we have research which has shown that our products or our molecules, and not only the molecules, but the combination of molecules, which Dr. Dan has formulated, work in such a way that it acts in a way that allows for your good genes to be turned on and the bad genes to be turned off. Now that's epic. Now we actually understand that you aren't necessarily destined to fail because of what your parents or your genes determined. You can affect them. Now, we know that what you eat, which is the business that we're in, right? I mean, we are here talking about nutritional supplements. We're going to put them in our body, and yes, they do turn on the good genes. But you can also alter which of those genes. Anybody know what else affects your epigenetics? Sleep. Sleep does. Sleep is huge. What else? Stress reduction. Okay, so one of my favorite things to talk about when I talk about epigenetics is I do believe that there was a master creator who designed us to love.
Yes.
And we know that stress reduction, love, charity, volunteering, those extend your life. Good relationships actually extend your life. So how do you like that? So here we are, sort of this cosmic floating around on this thing called Earth, and God has destined us to have relationships that are positive, and He's going to reward us by allowing us to live longer and healthier. So it's a beautiful system. So we know that food, we know that exercise, we know that sleep, and we know that love can turn on your good genes. So do all those things. And we're so happy that you're here. Did I talk long enough? All right. So anyway, I wish we had a bigger room. I was out there and I heard maybe 4 of your words, but anyway, they really were extraordinary. Yeah, extraordinary. So anyway, we're glad that you're here. We're looking forward to having a lot of fun, and we get almost 3 days together. So anyway, take care, y'all. It's good to see you.
So we have clinical studies, like Dr. Snyder says, showing that our products can regulate key genes. Who's heard of GLP-1? Woo! Right? GLP-1's in the news a lot. What if I told you we have clinical data showing that our products, a few of our products, upregulate GLP-1? Would that be cool? Yeah. Vitality and Revive upregulate GLP-1. BDNF, who's heard of that? Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Beautiful target, beautiful gene. What are genes made up of, by the way? Yeah, molecules. We're on the same page here. BDNF, great at supporting cognitive health. And our products regulate BDNF. NF-kappa B. Who knows NF-kappa B? Sweet gene, right? Talk about being a boss. NF-kappa B, when it comes to inflammation, is one of these master regulators in supporting inflammation. Our products regulate NF-kappa B, PPAR alpha, SOD1, and others. And how many other companies show that their products regulate epigenetics? I haven't seen it. Have you? And why are we able to regulate epigenetics? It's the molecules. It's the curated approach. Sorry, we're just getting over and over again. They're like, will you stop now? It's about the molecules. But molecules are not beneficial if they're not absorbed. Right? And that leads to the third pillar. The reason why we are cellular absorption experts is because we love molecules that much that we want them to get into the cell. We want all the molecules in all of our formulas to get into the cell. Now, when you think about it, there's a lot of molecules. You look at Vitalite, and there's like 40 some odd ingredients in Vitalite. But in each of those ingredients, there are many different molecules. So it's hard to know for sure, but when we run Vitalite through our instruments, they can detect molecules. And one peak represents a molecule. We have over 1,000 peaks. Vitalite has over 1,000 molecules. Isn't that crazy? Crazy good. Exactly. That is crazy good. Etranel, 800 molecules, 700, 600, 900 molecules in each of our products. So when you take our 6 products, which is our proactive wellness system, right? Because we really just have one product, a system that we broke up into 6 different delivery forms. So when you take our system, our proactive wellness system, you're taking thousands of molecules every single day. Is that going to have benefit to the body? Yeah. You bet it is. Is that going to counteract the molecular drain from our diet? Yeah. You bet it is. Is it going to help regulate epigenetics? Yeah. Absolutely. And so that's why we have our 11 different cellular absorption technologies. Now, I already have 11. Why not just one? Come on. 11? Why not just liposomes? Liposomes are cool, right? They're sweet. I love liposomes. Love me a good liposome. Why don't we just encapsulate everything in liposomes? Be done.
Molecules.
Molecules.
Always say molecules.
Exactly. Because Some molecules are too big, they don't fit in liposomes. Some molecules are too small, they leak out of the liposomes. So if we really are serious about molecules getting into the cell, we need delivery technologies, some that help with big molecules, 1,000 molecular weights, some that help with small molecules, like 60, 70 molecular weight, and everything in between. So that's why we use absorption. And we have a really exciting announcement about absorption this weekend as well. So stay tuned. It's going to be fun. Because we are always looking for new absorption techniques. When you discover a new molecule, a lot of times that new molecule needs a new absorption technology, right? Makes sense. So it's all about the molecules. And I hope what I've shown you today is that our products, with our approach, and it's not just our products, but it's our approach. If you're using a different approach, then you get different results. And so our molecular approach that we're using gives different results. Doesn't it?
Yes.
Who feels the difference when they take our products? Have you tried our products before? Okay. That is the result of our molecular approach. When you try our products and you feel the power of our products, that means that our molecular approach, our system is working. So, in a nutshell, for medical professionals, that's what makes us different. There's no other company using this approach. Now, a molecular approach is actually a scientific approach. It's a pharmaceutical approach. Pharmaceutical companies, they're all about molecules as well. They're all about designing, synthesizing, discovering through synthesis. There are molecules, they put it through safety studies, ADMET, tox studies, they go into clinical studies, and they come up with this molecule that they sell. And they make $12 billion a year for that molecule, right? We're doing a similar approach, a molecular approach. We're discovering molecules. We're not synthesizing them in the lab. We're pulling them out and finding them in plants that have never been analyzed before. And pharmaceutical companies do absorption studies. Do we do absorption studies? We do. Pharmaceutical companies do safety studies. Do we do safety studies? We do. You can see those in our clinical studies. Pharmaceutical companies run clinical trials. We run clinical trials. As a supplement company, do you have to run clinical trials? No way. You know? And most companies don't want to. Why would you want to run a clinical study? I was consulting with a company a while ago, and I was telling them that they should really run a clinical. I didn't formulate the product. They had this set of products, and they wanted help scientifically to look at them. And I said, well, you should run clinical trials on it. And the CEO's like, I don't want to run clinical trials. Like, well, you really should. He's like, I don't want to. Like, you really should. He's like, I really don't want to. I was like, what in the world? And I was with dinner. I had dinner with him, like a week after this conversation. And he said, hey, I want to, because it's you and I want to talk about this. The reason why I don't want to run clinical trials is I don't think the results will be that good. I'm just worried about the results, honestly, right? And as a supplement company, why would you want to run the clinical trial? Just let your marketing machine talk about things and go crazy, right? But we run clinical studies because we don't just want to hope it works or pray it works or think it works. We show unequivocally that our products work. So, with that, I'd like to take any questions you have. If you have a question, raise your hand. Now, a few ground rules with questions. Okay? A few ground rules. Anybody with a pre-existing medical condition should consult with who? Their medical doctor before taking nutritional supplements. Okay? We have a board of amazing doctors, our scientific advisory board. But they're not your doctor. They're not the patient in question doctor. They're not your family member's doctor, right? I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a PhD chemist, right? So when people come to me and say, hey, well, what about this? And 3 does not give medical advice. So if your question is related to medical advice, right? Like, I have a patient that has blah, 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 or my mom has so-and-so and so-and-so, what product should she take? Those are not questions that we're here to answer because we don't give medical advice. Okay? Are there any other ground rules that we should give for questions that I'm missing? You feel good about that? Okay. Questions? Yes?
Have you ever explored the use of trehalose as a sweetener instead of xylitol?
I have looked at trehalose. Yeah. And we're looking at other, there's other sweeteners like tagatose. Tagatose is really interesting. Allulose is interesting. Trehalose, I have looked at that. It's interesting. A lot of times when it comes to sweeteners, regulatory is a concern. So we're in 12 international markets and probably going to be in other markets here in the near future, potentially. And it's interesting with regulatory, a lot of countries, they have their own regulations. And so trehalose is not allowed in several markets in Asia. Yeah, it is. Stevia, stevia is not allowed in Japan unless it's done a certain way, So each country has their own regulations. And so when we develop formulas, we want to develop a formula that works for all of our 12 markets.
I have a question. So I work with a lot of physicians and treat a lot of Medicare patients that are chronically ill.
Can you guys hear this?
No.
Not so much? Speak up a little bit. Or stand.
I'm Bob Baker. I work with physicians all across the United States that treat patients that are chronically ill, Medicare patients primarily. How do you convince a physician to use a 3 product to help make your patients get better? Because they're so used to prescribing medications. They're often paid by pharmaceutical companies to do that. And so I'm a huge fan of prevention and wellness, and that's what my company does, is treat chronically ill patients. How do you convince a physician to implement something like this when historically they're trained to write out prescriptions?
Yeah, you really can't convince someone. All you can do is show the data. And we've taken a pharmaceutical approach in the clinical studies, in the intellectual property that we use, that hopefully could be a benefit. Medical professionals, I don't know. So let me ask you, medical professionals, when you were receiving your training, how many classes did you take where they talked about like diet and nutrition and supplementation and stuff like that?
A lot. I'm a naturopathic doctor.
Okay, naturopathic doctor, a lot. Wonderful. Integrative health, a lot. Traditional medical doctors, 1 class. Okay. So the reason why I did that is a lot of it is trying to change the mindset of medical professionals. And the fact that you're here in the room means you're open-minded. And that's great. I love that. I have a lot of friends. I had a friend I just talked with the other day who went to Hopkins Medical School. And yeah, exactly. We have a Hopkins fan over there, and Dr. Schneider. Dr. Schneider went to Johns Hopkins, one of the best medical schools in the world, as you know. And trying to talk with him and convincing him that supplements are an okay thing, he was always skeptical until we talk their language. What do we talk about? Molecules, right? When he was asking what you're doing, I'm like, oh, well, we found this molecule called this and this and this, and we ran an assay that this and this and this, and we found that it does that and that and that. And he's like, what in the world? It changes their mindset when we use the language, because science is all about, health science is all about molecules. Okay. Here, and then here.
Okay, Dr. Dan.
Let's wait for the mic.
So, Dr. Dan, I really appreciated the studies that you published on our absorption percentages compared to, and that's what I want to ask. What is it compared to when we have our absorption?
Yeah. The organic control in that absorption study is curcumin. The molecule curcumin.
For all the
Yeah, so when we wanted to do a control and you have 6 different formulas with different molecules in them, right? You needed to find something that was kind of standardized. I needed to find something that was standardized across. And I found that curcumin was probably the best molecule to use because it's used in the supplement industry a lot. And when you look at its molecular characteristics and its functional groups and its hydrophobicity and molecular size, it fits into a pretty nice mold of a supplement molecule. And that's what I used. Great. Let's wait for the mic, so we can all hear your beautiful voice.
How many the walkthroughs in our the 6 product total?
Six.
You know, 2,700 maybe, close to 3,000. Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah. So think about that. 3,000 molecules. When you are giving this system of products to someone, they're taking 3,000 molecules a day. I don't know about you, but that's exciting to me. Just think about the beautiful molecular structures of these molecules and how they're doing. And now they get into the body and they're conducting right. And the body's now, oh, you know, good things are happening. Right here. We'll go here, here, here.
I'm gonna like piggyback on her question.
Yeah.
So if there's that many molecules in all the products, is it different ingredients or they come from like similar plants?
They're coming from different ingredients. So when we say curcumin, you have curcuminoids, and you have other molecules in curcumin. So just in curcumin alone, you probably have 12 molecules or so. Great question.
Dr. Dan,
Yeah.
how many phytonutrients are in an apple?
Yeah, maybe 300.
Okay. Have they all been isolated?
No. Some cool ones have been isolated, like Floritin. Floritin's a freaking cool molecule. And you know, different apples. So different apples have different qualities. So a red apple, like a Red Delicious, has a very different molecular composition, phytochemical composition than a green apple, like a Granny Smith. Really interesting. And the more tart the apple is, the more molecules, usually. Yeah. If you bite an apple that's really tart, kind of bitter, that's a sign that it has some freaking good molecules. Okay, next question. Yes.
Dr. Dan,
Hi.
bitter melon is always bitter. Is that why?
Yeah, momorticin is bitter. This molecule that we have on the other side of the board, that's found in bitter melon, it's really bitter.
Is that the reason why you think it is a good, ingredient for the supplements? Because they're normally bitter. I mean, what bitter melon are normally bitter?
They are. Momorticin is bitter, and you know there's some molecules. A lot of molecules that have health benefits are bitter, but some of them aren't.
I have actually another question. In each of the product, you have a label given the recommendation of how much you take. But I heard some people are taking more than that. Is it really essential or safe to take more than the recommended dose that you have labeled in each of the products?
So let's have someone answer this. Dr. Bordone, do you want to answer this for us? Come on up. Dr. Schneider, do you want to grab the mic there? There's another mic by your feet. We can bounce around. Mics. Let's come up.
Okay, so
Where?
I'll tell you what I tell my patients and customers and things like that. So we have the recommended dose, but these are natural plant-based supplements. And so if you feel like you could get added benefit from a little bit more because you feel like you might be deficient, for example, some people take Tubital-Te. If you feel like you're under the weather and you want to take more immune, you can do that short term. If you exercise a lot and end up getting a lot of inflammation and post-exercise soreness, you can take more Revive. So within reason, it can be safe. It will be costly to take way more than recommended, but you can.
But at the same time, or you spread it out through the day? Does it matter? Does it matter?
I take my Revive and spread it out, But I think some people spread it out, and it just depends on what your needs are. For me, I say when you remember to take it is when you should. So if you feel like you're a little bit like, if I'm under the weather and I want to take more immune because I feel like I'm going to get and feel better sooner, then I'm going to take more at one time. But that's just how I do it.
Yeah, and so when it comes to our recommended use, right? That recommended use was developed based on studies. And so if you want to take more, like Dr. Bordone said, our products, you can take more. But what I would add to that is if you want to take more, you should just make sure that you talk with your medical doctor and they're okay with the ingredients that are in there based on your condition and everything that's going on. Great. Yes? Where's our mic? My mic. I was using two mics as well. As my daughters would say, awkward, embarrassing.
I have a question.
Yes.
So one thing that's really popular that I'm hearing on social media is about parasites. Do we
Yes.
have anything specifically in our 6 products that are going to target and help with parasites? Like maybe Purify? Is there anything in there?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. So molecules in Purify, like silibinin, which is part of milk thistle, can have some anti-parasitic effects. So it can actually paralyze parasites. So parasites, when they're swimming around in the intestinal tract, when they feel movement starting to happen, they dive into the cilia lining of the intestines, and they hang out there and they hold on when the movement comes. And so silibinin and other molecules like that paralyze the parasites. So it's antispasmodic activity and properties. They paralyze the parasite so that when the movement comes, they can't swim into the lining in their flesh.
So milk thistle.
Milk thistle.
is good for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Quercetin, immune?
What?
Quercetin, immune?
Quercetin? Yeah, I mean the natural silver is a good benefit.
He's the one.
Where are we at?
Right here.
Okay.
I think my question was sort of answered, and it was about taking additional doses. I know you were on a call with Dr. Snyder. You said, even up to 6 or 8 Revive per day.
Yeah.
So my question would it be still the 2 multiple times or 3 twice?
With
Does
that-
that make a difference?
Not really, because the pharmacokinetics of these products, right? When you take these molecules, I should really turn around so we can see the beautiful molecules. These molecules, right? Half-life of these is 12, 24 hours. So they're going to be in the body for a little bit. Okay. Yep. Let's pass it back here to the gentleman, and then go back.
So I'm an orthopedic surgeon and I do a lot of very painful procedures. 2 of the things that I'm most concerned about, first of all, is controlling their pain. The second one is preventing infection. A lot of my patients won't have the opportunity to take Vitalite or Immune or Revive for a period of time prior to their procedure. My question is this: how much time do you think would it take to upregulate their immune system if I get them on immune? Would it be a 2-week dose, a month dose? Are there any studies that show, okay, you ramp up if you're taking a month's worth of immune to about 75% of what we would hope you could get to?
Yeah, great question. The ingredients that are part of our adaptive and innate immune system blends, vitamin C, elderberry, those types of ingredients, those are usually from what I've seen in the scientific literature, 7 to 10 days sort of thing to ramp things up.
Okay. And then with Revive, would you recommend they take that preoperatively or just something to use postoperatively?
That's something that the medical doctor would need to decide. That's something that you would need to decide. I was just saying in general, knowing what the product does, right? So this product with its phosphoric acids and its curcuminoids and its thymoquinones, black cumin seed oil, helping to downregulate inflammation through epigenetic pathways. Hopefully that would be enough information for a medical doctor to figure out how they want to use it. But, you know, based on the scientific literature, which is all I could say as a chemist, a PhD chemist, the mechanism of action would be helpful for both, in theory.
And then one final question, are there any of the products, the 3 cells, that are known to cause blood clotting to be delayed or slowed?
Blood clotting to be delayed. So Revive, with its curcuminoids and its boswellic acids, can have a blood thinning type property to it in some individuals, and so that would be something that the medical professionals should know, and people in general who are taking those. That's a classic case why we should ask our medical doctor before taking any supplement if we're on prescription drugs and have issues there. Dr. Baker. We're
medical doctor coming up.
2 things. First of all, I think that's a great question about curcumin, because we're aware of the possibility of taking it for long periods of time at high doses, possibly low-grade anemias, those kind of things. I've used it on patients ever since we've had it, and I've never had that as an issue, okay? So it's something that I make people aware of it. We're not treating diseases, curing this, or preventing that. But again, I do tell them that is a potential thing to watch for. And I'm checking labs on all my patients frequently anyway, and I've never had that to be an issue. Back to your orthopedic question real quick. You know, I take care of a lot of people. I send a lot of people to orthopedists for knees and hips and shoulders and that kind of stuff. When necessary, as a last resort as an internist, I don't want to do that, but sometimes you have to. We're supporting a healthy inflammatory response. I think you'll see a big assistance in your care by using these orthopedics.
Dr. Galazian, please.
Going back to, I'm a pain doctor, and so I work a lot with orthopedic spine. In fact, one of my parts is an orthopedic spine, one of the biggest in Southern California. But in terms of using products like Revive, American Society of Regional Anesthesia, I think we need to stay away for about 7 days at least. 7 days at least. And then also with the GLP-1 mechanism, I would recommend holding for at least 1 to 2 weeks. And it's just for safety, because you don't want, one case can do a lot of damage. So we want to make sure you are safe, your patients are safe, but I really recommend at least 7 days off the Revive prior to any type of surgical or any type of spinal injections like what I do. Including the Vitality as well.
Awesome. Okay, where are we? Mike in the back corner.
I am a PhD in biochemistry, so I am not using the product pretty new to free, but I am amazed because my father has amazing results already, just like living testimony here. I'm also amazed by like the study that you already did, because like I haven't seen any nutraceutical product like company doesn't make the effort to really do a in vitro study at all. Like, so like the fact that you went through all the mRNA study and amazing. So 2 questions. Like first, like are you planning to do any in vivo study in the future?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, we have a robust clinical study program. That's
cool. And like is any clinical study already published or?
Yeah, so these 3 studies that we have are white papers, and we're in the process of peer review.
Okay.
To put them in journals.
Cool. Did you put it in bioRxiv or anything? Like.
Not yet, because we want to go through the peer review process.
So okay, so it's like submitted already, or not yet?
It's in the peer review process.
Cool. Well, how can I do it? Like, well, I'm very nerdy, so I have a lot of nerdy detailed questions. I don't think it's suitable to be asked here.
Yeah, once the paper's
So
published, you and I can nerd out on it.
Sweet. Well, you promised me that, right? So, you will answer my call. Cool.
Let's do it.
The second question is like, a lot of recommendations here is like, as you say, like we have like some of those that we need to be before. We need to be careful, like when do we stop and start again? It depends on condition, and that is only medical professionals' advice. My doctor hates nutrition.
Yeah.
how do I convince him? Or like,
That's-
so like, or the other side is like, how do I get the information, like the handbooks, like, well, I think I'm educated enough, I can self-study a little bit and dose myself. But how do I get like the precise recommendation that you guys just was discussing? Well, it's hard in Utah, unfortunately, to find a really medical doctor who really support.
Yeah, so it's
Or if you have any recommendation in Utah, let me know.
it can be a catch-22.
Don't try. I mean, I say this with all sincerity. You in this room are going to change health in America. And so honestly, I salute him. You know, the research is going to help, but doctors are so slow to change that our products are safe. When it comes to dosing, think about, I am 2 of her, so obviously I can take twice as much, right? But let's get back to the doctors. Don't try. I know that we think if doctors are going to be this great revenue stream, they really aren't. And when it comes to disciples of wellness, that is on you. Doctors are not about wellness. So I am encouraging each of you to take this very seriously and don't be trying to change the system. Let's invent a new system.
Let's Pat.
Okay.
Oh, did you have?
One last question. Like, if I'm going to study for myself, where is my handbook? Like,
Where is your handbook
like,
to study
how
for
do
yourself?
I study, like, with each product and everything, like, with, like,
On our website, in our library, we have videos, we have studies that you can look at.
There's a library of that. It is like a private website for.
And it's
I
called
have
our
one.
back office. Your father can help
Okay.
you. Okay, let's pass the mic down to Dr. Oh, did you?
Quick
Okay.
question. I'm fairly new. I've only heard of 3 in the last 2 weeks. And I'm
Welcome.
reading the ingredients. Thank you. And I see that some of your products do have gums and silicones and the synthetic sugar. Do you ever see a future where you'll maybe use other products instead of the gums, which can be inflammatory?
Yeah, all of our products are natural. We don't have synthetic sugar in it at all. So all the ingredients, they're all natural sourced. The gums are natural as well. The amount of the gums that we use are not inflammatory in our clinical studies. So what, you know, it's a lot of it is the dose that's used, right? I mean, the dose determines the poison is the old adage there. So the small amount of the gums from the natural sources that we use, we haven't, in the studies that we've ran, we've seen no inflammation. Yeah, great question. Let's go over here. Okay.
There are many post-vaccination adverse effects, and I want to know that is there any of our products can help to do kind of detox? Because based on what we have studied, a lot of research that people have been talking about detox with curcumins and so on. I just want to know that is there any research about that our product can help those people?
We haven't done research in that area. Okay. Now let's go straight to Dr. Okay, Dr. Clevenger has the mic.
I
Great.
found a mic.
Great.
Okay, a couple things. And I'll just tell an anecdotal story, but keep in mind, most physicians are gonna tell people you need to be off supplements for a certain amount of time prior to a surgery. It's not just 3, it's all supplements. And I would really encourage you to really work with that PDR if you're working with people, working with physicians. I'll give the example. In December, my 15-year-old had open heart surgery, and he's doing fabulously. However, there were 2 specific products I wanted him on right away. Like, he uses the products and does fabulously with them. And so, 24 hours out of surgery, they came in, and the cardiothoracic surgeon said, or it was actually one of the nurse practitioners, said, "Do you have any questions?" And I said, "Yes, I have a couple things that I want him on really rather quickly." And she said, "Oh, well, Dr. Ricci does not allow any supplements for 2 weeks post-surgery." And I said, "That's fine. They're in the PDR." And I said, "Would you be willing to look?" And she came back, she said, "Which do you want?" I told her. She came back that afternoon and she said, Dr. Ricci said we can take those 2. And so that is a very, very powerful source that we have. He was able to look at them and use them. And so it wasn't about convincing. I just said, this is what I'd like to do. Can you look? And he did. And he was very kind and it was wonderful. And we were able to get him on the two that I really wanted quickly. And so use that as a resource really when you're talking to those other healthcare providers when you're chatting, because nobody else has that and we do.
Beautiful, thank you, Dr. PPR cannot be overstated. It's powerful. Where are we at? Where's the question? We're going to take maybe three or four more questions, and then I'd like the SAB to give some concluding remarks. Okay? Yes.
I had one.
Do you have a mic?
No.
Where's the mic?
Right back there.
Okay. Can you give the mic to her, please? Second row. Yes. Thank you so much.
So I love that you have the clinical studies. It's amazing, and not a lot of people study plants. So when 3 people started doing that, I was just blown away. So I do work with a naturopathic doctor. She's looked at the clinical studies and she says, those look amazing, the results in vitro. I want to see what they are in humans, like live, you know what I'm talking about. And as far as I know, she uses, different nutraceuticals, but I don't think that's done in any company that I'm aware of when it comes to nutraceuticals and actual human trials, not in vitros. So, do you have?
Yeah, so when you run clinical research, there's the normal pathway that you go. And keep in mind, how old is 3?
1.
Yeah, 18 months old. And how long does research take?
How long?
A long time. And when you start to do research, what is the first type of study that you do? In vitro research, cellular assays, right? And then you move on to in vivo. So we're moving on to the process. We're going to be doing some in vivo studies. That said, though, we're really quick, and I kind of blame it on social media a little bit. We're really quick to discount anything that isn't in humans. Like it's so funny, any animal study, social media, like, it's terrible, it's nasty, it's whatever. If you're trying to, a lot of times, and Dr. McCormick knows this, working in the industry for a long time, depending on what you're trying to do, an in vivo study could be a lot better. Excuse me. An in vitro study could be a lot better than an in vivo study. And an animal study, a well-controlled animal study, where you take into account epigenetics and genome similarities and different things like that for what you're trying to do in humans, might actually be more accurate than doing the human study. So epigenetics, trying to do epigenetics in vivo is not, I don't know of a really accurate way to do that. You can do blood draws and DNA nanostring technology and stuff like that, but I haven't seen the accuracy there. So the RT-PCR study that we did, epigenetic in the cells, that's the gold standard. So that's even better than an in vivo study that you would do. So those are some caveats that I think we need to understand as we're looking at clinical research. A wonderful question. Love it. Question and comment. Great comment as well. Okay. Who else?
How young? Sorry. How old can you be in order for you to take supplements?
Yeah. We don't want one of our board members to do that, Dr. Schneider.
We recommend that you ask your doctor. Everything. Look at we're here to protect you, your investment. We're here to protect your health. But from a legal standpoint, we're here to protect his job especially. That means that don't be silly, right? We know that if there's a vitamin out there, we know it's safe. But yet we also know that there are people that like to sue people. So just please be safe. Please be safe with all of this. We say ask your doctor. They may not know the answer, but at least you have sort of covered yourself. And the reality is, we're talking about concentrated food. That's what our products are, for the most part. For the most part, they are. And until food is ruled an outlaw, we're going to use our supplements. So they're very safe, but to be on the safe side, yeah, talk to your pediatrician.
And real quick before you do your other question, to piggyback off of that, what we designed when we were looking at the molecules is at 12 and older. If you want to give it to individuals under 12, ask their pediatrician.
And the other question is, I have a lot of friends and family and clientele. Can my pet take these
Yeah.
Well, pets usually don't sue.
And that's it. Okay. Well, similar, if you want to give it to a child, you would talk to their pediatrician. If you want to give it to your fur baby, you would talk to their veterinarian. Yeah, talk to their veterinarian. Go here, here, and then we'll be.
Okay, I have been having sciatica for the last.
Can you guys hear her?
Yes. I have been having sciatica on my back for the last 10 years, and the doctor has put me on pain medicine. But I'm not a medicine person. I hate taking pills. And so when my daughter came in with 3, I started taking 2. Then, then I go back and take 2 more later on. Then I take 2 before I go to bed.
Is this the Revive?
And I can kick soccer. I can tell you nothing. I don't have pain, and I'm 78 years old.
Okay, where are we going? Here, and then here.
My question is, we take before the people talking. So we as the agents take extras. That's true. But currently, I'm doing the marketing as I heard it, and also their question is if they take more, where it goes. And you say it's 12 hours will be washed off from your bodies, right?
12-hour half-life.
Half-life. I'm sorry.
Half-life.
Oh, half-life. Okay. So.
Do you know what half-life means? So if something has a 12-hour half-life, so the instant I take it, what percentage of it is in my body? 100%. After 12 hours, 50% of it is in my body. After 12 hours, half of 50 is in my body, 25%.
Okay, so 12 hours is a hiking hour plus blood, right? Yeah,
Well, a high peak is
body.
time 0, right when we take it.
Okay. So, okay, yeah, that.
So are you wondering where it goes? If we take too much?
Yeah, take too much, and it will be released from our bodies as the extras. I mean, it's because our body absorption has the how to say that the amount. Yeah, the amount in our body. If like we have the meal. If we
So in biochemistry, I think I know what your question is. In biochemistry, there's something called shunt metabolite pathways, SHUNT. You guys heard of that? Shunt metabolites. And so if you have something that, it's like filling up a cup with water. And if you're filling it up a cup with water and it's going down a shunt metabolite pathway, which are phytochemicals, these beautiful molecules, that's what they do. If you have too much, what happens is when the cup is full of water and the water starts to pour out, immediately then these molecules are taken down the excretion pathway to be pushed out of the body. Okay, great. Last question, right here.
Okay, I have a client, she's Jewish, and she wanted to know the whole kosher aspect. Like, I think there was something in the collagen that she questioned. Like, is it kosher?
So our products are not currently kosher certified. Okay, the ingredients are kosher friendly, but they're not kosher certified. So for something to be kosher, even though the ingredients are okay, you have to have the rabbi come to our manufacturing facility and do the process there. And we haven't done that yet. Now, several of our products are halal, but we haven't done kosher yet. Just because there hasn't been huge demand.
Right, well, the ingredients are.
Yeah, I mean, the ingredients are kosher friendly, but without the rabbi there, it's not. Okay, we're making an exception. This is the last question.
So I understand everything's plant-based, but there are some other plant-based things out there that when you do drug testing shows up, and we've been asked that from some people that are on oil rigs in Louisiana.
What in Louisiana?
Drug testing.
Drug testing? Yeah.
Is anything going to give a trigger on that?
No, I mean, we haven't seen that. But, you know, for people who, like athletes, right? We have athletes ask, you know, if I take this product, is it going to give a bad response or anything like that? Am I going to fail a test? Our thing is, I mean, the ingredients that we've used, they all tested clean, but the responsibility is on that athlete or that person. Okay, let's have the SAB members come up one at a time. We'll have you be last, Dr. Schneider, to finish things off as the chair. So why don't we have Dr. Baker, Dr. Verdone, Dr. Galacia come up one at a time and just give some 2 minute concluding thoughts, your thoughts about the session, about three, whatever you want. Come on up, and then we'll conclude with Dr. Schneider will be done.
Sounds good. Can you guys hear me through the? Okay. Just wanted to piggyback off of something I believe Dr. Schneider said. There was when he mentioned about sharing these products to physicians. As an internal medicine guy, you know, it's one of those kind of things that I know a lot of other interns. They're not as open to these kind of things as those of us in this room would like to think. So it truly is up to you guys. You are still the scientists, the people that are going to be teaching others out there, trying to keep you from becoming discouraged. These docs here are unique. You know, a lot of other physicians out there are not going to be open to this. I can tell you when somebody asked the question earlier in medical school, how many lectures you have on nutrition and dietary stuff. I don't know if anybody saw me, I was doing this. Because I was trained back in the dark ages, and so it was just one of those kind of things that was not to mention much other than in passing. So don't get discouraged. Don't try to go to all your physicians and convince them to become 7-star in Curie, okay? It's one of those kind of things. Drip on them, bring them information. The PDR, I want to reiterate that once again as well. Very important. Physicians out there, we're not real smart sometimes. But if you show them something about, hey, this is in the PDR, they at least know what that is. It's been around since 1946, and there are simply not many nutraceutical things in the PDR. And so it's amazing to think that all 6 of these products at 3 are in the PDR. So just again, trying to encourage you to not get discouraged when you talk with physicians out there. Again, we're pretty slow. So thank you guys.
Okay, so we've been here for about an hour and a half, and I like to summarize things because you guys might be going like, what the heck just happened, and leave, because like when you come see the doctor, you only retain like 10% of what we say. So just quickly, I'm going to reiterate what Dr. Dan said today, I think hopefully in a concise way so that you can leave and hopefully you remember it. So molecules matter, right? Everything is about molecules. So that's what we're about. Exploration, we are exploring new plants to help innovate new product and make ours better. Believe us, we're doing it. Curation, we're going to put all of these amazing ingredients together. They are pure ingredients. We're going to formulate them in a way that you're going to feel a difference. So Dr. Dan knows what 2 ingredients or 3 ingredients to put together so that you're all going to feel a difference, and all of your customers and brand ambassadors are going to feel a difference. Absorption, you're only as good as what you absorb. So we have 11 absorption technologies to make sure that these molecules get inside the body. We are the only supplement company that has the studies that we have because nobody else wants to do it. We're that brave Mr. Daniel Piku is brave enough to pay for these studies because we will back what we say. And as my upline Adrian always says, you will not know how they feel unless you put them in your mouth. So when you're talking to people, put them in your mouth. Tell them to feel the difference, and then they're going to be a believer. So yeah, we thank you guys all for being here. Like Dr. Dan said, this is the first time we had a breakout session. I believe it's been great. Dr. Dan, you did an amazing job. So thank you all for spreading the word.
Well, I think I'm just gonna say. Well, good afternoon again. Yeah, I think you've said everything. And what I can just say is there is a reason why each and every one of you are here. You have a role. You have not just a clinical or a responsibility, but more a moral responsibility, especially that you've got all this knowledge and you have such wonderful products that will change a lot of lives, that will transform not just yourself, it transformed me. It transformed the lives of those people that you love, that will transform a lot of lives in your community. So please share it. We have something here that is so powerful. It changed me, not just as a person, but physically. And just so you know, I'm a cancer survivor. And I'm so passionate about sharing this wonderful God-given ingredients. God gave this to us. So we better use it. We better share it. And you have that responsibility. Thank you.
All right, so I get to finish it out. And so we talked about molecules, and we talked about doctors, we talked about our products, how we sort of integrate them. Now we're going to learn how do we share it. That's not my job, but that's what you're going to learn about. The one thing I want you to leave this session knowing is that you are in such good hands. That Dr. Dan is a jewel. He is very, very unique. And I pray that 3 is smart enough to keep someone of his intellect on board, because if they do, this company is going to go like this. Things that he is coming up with, the studies that he is investing money in are unique to the industry. And in fact, we will sit down. The epigenetic study is so mind-blowing, we can't even explain it. So it is an exciting new section. We don't call it medicine, but we're going to call it wellness. And that really is the future. The future is start now so that your future is better than it would have been. So anyway, thanks you all. Thank you to Dr. Daniel. He is the face, along with Daniel Piku, who really does allow for him to do these studies. That is what makes this company unique. So love you guys. Have a good evening, and we'll see you around the next 2 days.
Yay.